Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and a demo, as I always try to do, of the brand new Too Faced Peach Perfect Matte Instant Coverage Concealer. And it comes in a cute little box like this, as we are used to expecting from Too Faced, as they've got very kitschy, gimmicky, cutesy kind of packaging, which some people hate, some people love. I personally love. And it comes in a glass container like this, and I bought mine from Debenhams. It retails at $18.50, which is quite pricey for a concealer. However, I did not pay £18.50 for it. Firstly, for those of you that are unaware, or because you don't live in the UK, Debenhams, which is a department store and one of the largest in the country, has actually gone into administration because of COVID-19. In all fairness, they were already struggling beforehand, and what they have been doing for quite some time now is they have been slashing their prices. They don't do it all the time, so it's more like a matter of when you go onto their website having a look around, because what they've been doing, especially for the skincare and beauty section, is they've been doing 15% off, 15% off, 15% off, 15% off. Then they'll remove the 15% off for a couple of days, then they'll put it back on. Then they'll remove it for a couple of days, then they'll put it back on. So I have never actually had to pay full price for anything from Debenhams for quite some time, and that includes brand new products such as this as well. They do not discriminate. It's not just older products, it's every single product. And I also had a £5 off voucher. Now, I got mine a couple of days ago, obviously ordered it online, and I colour matched myself from Too Faced's website directly using the information that they had given, and my shade turned out to be, or as I assumed at the time, is Honeycomb. And Honeycomb is actually absolutely perfect for my medium toned skin. So this is what it looks like from the outside. It's got a cute little peach on the front, and then unscrew it, and this is what it looks like from the inside, and here you can see what the colour looks like as well. Okay, so as I always do, I'm going to go by Too Faced's website and let you know what their claims are about the product, and then let you know what my thoughts are based on my experience using it. Now, altogether there are 18 shades, which is okay. Not the greatest amount. I think that they could have done better, but whatever. Also, let's not forget that the reason that they've released this is because of the success of the Peach Perfect range. I do have to say, out of all of Too Faced products, the Peach Perfect foundation is probably one of my favourite, and also the mattifying powder. Now, the thing with the Peach Perfect range is it's a very matte range, so for those of you that like your dewy kind of skin, you may not like it. Another reason why I loved the foundation so much, I don't know if you guys remember, about 2 years ago in 2018 in the UK we had a 6-week heat wave. Every single day it went higher and higher, to the point where we were matching temperatures as if it was Africa. And I literally wore the Peach Perfect foundation every single day, as it seemed to be the only one that I had in my entire collection that kept my skin completely matte despite the fact it was so hot. And also, as a result of that, the powder as well helped so much, which is why I was really happy to try this. I've also got the setting spray, which is also excellent. So obviously my expectations of this product were already very, very high. Now, what they've said is that it is a long wearing concealer that instantly hides redness, dark spots, blemishes and acne. Peach Perfect is a super comfortable matte concealer that's non-comedogenic, which means that it doesn't block pores, because who doesn't want a flawless complexion? New super pigmented waterproof formula enriched with antioxidants and hyaluronic acid that blends seamlessly into the skin for a flawless matte finish. It's got full coverage. Its key benefits are that it's got a flawless natural finish, weightless, hydrating, oil-free formula, long wearing for 12 hours, photo-friendly with no flashback, non-comedogenic, infused with coconut water, alpine rose, hyaluronic acid. That's pretty much all they've written. And on the Debenhams website, they seem to have written something completely different, but just for the sake of completion, I'm going to read what it says. Treat your makeup routine to the sweetest smelling peaches and cream instant coverage concealer infused with peach and sweet fig milk for an irresistible peach scent. Its soft, creamy texture offers a signature matte finish, seamlessly masking every blur and blemish imaginable for 24 hours of crease, water and sweat proof wear. Peach Perfect. It says that it's suitable for all skin types. It's mattifying, non-creasing formula, suitable for all skin types. You've written it twice, why? Long wearing, matte finish, long lasting finish. Isn't long wearing and long lasting the same thing? Okay. Buildable coverage, does not contain parabens, gluten, and it's cruelty free. So first off, my shade, which is Honeycomb, is described as light with golden undertones, which is completely me. However, the person whose face they're showing is not of my ethnicity, so sometimes it can be a little bit deceiving and a little bit confusing. So sometimes it's all about suck it and see and hope for the best, and luckily it worked well for me. It says that it's super pigmented. It is super pigmented, waterproof formula. I'll be honest with you, I've not thrown any water up my face to test that claim, and it's got hyaluronic acid in it, which is obviously great because hyaluronic acid delivers 1000% more moisture to the skin than normal moisturizers, etc. And it's something that your eye area generally tends to need quite a lot because your under eye area is generally the most driest part of your face. Hides redness, yep. Dark spots, yep. Blemishes, yep. Acne, yep. It does all of those things. They say that it's medium to full and buildable, whereas the other one said full coverage. I don't understand. I would say it's medium to full and buildable, definitely. You have to layer it up depending on what kind of coverage that you want. Comfort matte finish completely. It has got a completely matte finish. Soft, cushiony texture for silky, comfortable wear. I would say yeah, I guess it kind of has. I mean, I personally find that it's quite thick because obviously it's not like the normal liquid concealers that we're used to. So it's a little bit more difficult, I find, to use than your normal concealers, which are in a more liquidy kind of format. Long wearing for 12 hours, yes. So what's with the 24-hour claim that they were giving as well? I don't understand. I've not worn it for that long, to be honest. Crease resistant for 12 hours, nope. It starts to crease almost immediately. What you need to understand is because of the kind of texture that it has, it's thick. It is very, very thick. I've applied this with my fingers and I did not like it. I think it's definitely best applied with a flat concealer brush because you've definitely got a lot more control and you're able to get a lot more product onto the brush than you can with your finger. So no, it is not crease resistant at all. You have to set it pretty much ASAP. And if you've got a crease under your eyes already and then you use your setting powder, it will fill out that crease and just accentuate that crease really. That's it. Waterproof, like I said, I'm not sure. Sweat resistant, I would say no. It's been very, very hot in London recently, and I found that when I was sitting in my room, I wasn't even doing anything. We were on lockdown at the end of the day, and I was getting quite hot because the sun was beating down on me. I was starting to sweat, and then I noticed slight movement, which was disappointing. So that is what I have to say about the product based on the claims that Too Faced have given. Now, from my own personal point of view, I think it's alright. I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's not awful, but it's not the best concealer that Too Faced have ever come out with. I probably would have preferred if they came out with a Peach Perfect one, but in liquid form. It's just a lot more easier to glide onto the skin. This one is not as easy. It's very, very thick. You would imagine, look, it's not falling out. It's a thick, very thick, creamy texture. If you've got long nails, forget it. You're going to just dig your nail inside. So it is best applied with a brush. They suggest using their own brush, but of course they would. And it has got that peach scent that all of their other peach products smell like. I don't really hate it, but I don't think it's the best kind of scent out there. It smells like fake peach. But the thing is that I don't find that you can actually smell it once it's on your face, which is the most important thing. Now, one thing I do have to say is you have to blend this very, very quickly. Once you apply this to your face, blend it out and set it ASAP. If you don't, it starts to crease almost instantly. I've got normal to combination skin. This is obviously for all skin types, as they say. I would agree that it is, but I would also say that if you've got dry skin, be wary when using it on your face because it is that matte. It will accentuate any texture on your face. Personally, I've been using this under my eyes and to highlight the high points of my face, as I always do. You guys know that I generally tend to not use concealer on my face. I've mentioned that on my channel many, many times, purely because I believe that a foundation should do that job. You should not have to go in afterwards and make touch-ups. These days, foundations, concealers and makeup in general is so good. It's not like back in the day where you had to add things and this, that and the other. It is perfect for brightening my under eye area as well as highlighting the high points of my face. And then once that's done, I will set it with my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder in the shade Blondie. So what you need to do is you need to get any kind of flat brush that you've got, and then you start to swoop it into the areas that you want to apply it to. So I'm going to do it to my under eye area, and I'm going to be quite generous as well. I tend to personally prefer full coverage concealers on my under eye area. I don't have a huge amount of dark circles, but I do have dark circles. But I'm an all or nothing kind of gal. I don't see the point of putting concealer under your eyes for it to be like light coverage. Why just use foundation then, innit? Why are you using concealer? I don't understand. And it is almost like applying thick paint to your under eye area onto your face, which is why it's important to use a brush and not your finger. Your finger would just not pick up as much as a brush would, and you would end up going in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay, so I've got my Real Techniques Beauty Blender, which is slightly damp. I washed it and then I left it on the windowsill and it's kind of dried, but I think it's all right. And I'm just going to blend it all out just so that you guys can see how it blends out, etc. Okay, so now that that is done, it blends quite nicely and easily. Probably would have blended a little bit better had I not had such a dry sponge. I've kind of decided against putting it on my face because, as you can see, it'll be too light to use as like a spot concealer. So I'm just going to set it now. Okay, so I've left it on for the obligatory 5 seconds. I'm just going to brush it all off. Okay, so there we have it, all blended out. It feels lovely and soft. It feels like velvet. Blends very nicely, sets beautifully. However, you do need to set it. I cannot reiterate enough, you do need to set this. I don't care what they say about you don't need to set it and it's creaseless and da-da-da. It creases. It creases and it creases. Bear in mind, I barely have any lines under my eyes as it is because I don't have deep set eyes. People with deep set eyes tend to have more under eye creases because that's just how their eyes are. But I don't have deep set eyes, meaning I don't have that many lines. I also don't have any fine lines either. But yet, this still manages to find any lines and sit within them nicely. So you do need to blend it out very, very quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to finish off the rest of my face. And I will come back and finish off this review just so that you can see what it all looks like when it's all put together nicely. Okay, I am back. The rest of my makeup is done. On my lips is Gingerbread Girl, which is a classic. Obviously goes nice with my aesthetic I've got going on here. So this is what the concealer looks like once the whole face is complete. As you can see, it blends in beautifully to my skin tone. I'm also not one of those people who likes to have a very obvious highlight under the eyes. I personally don't think it's a good look anyway. There's nothing wrong with having a slight amount of brightening under the eyes, but you don't want it to be too much to make it obvious. You want the light to bounce off of the under eye area so that it illuminates rather than does the complete opposite. The one thing I do have to say about this as well, because it is so thick, using your finger is almost pointless. Now, I've also used this with my finger to apply it to the under eyes, and I've tried blending it out and it just blends patchy. You really need to use a sponge or a brush. Personally, I would not even use a brush. I would use a sponge. And if you do want to use a brush, use a flat one to apply it and then use a fluffier one to blend it, because what will happen is you will just not get a clean and even coverage, which obviously you want it to be. I've also used this to carve out my eyebrows, another thing that I find very difficult and a lot more easier with other creamy liquidy concealers, because when I carve out my eyebrows I use this little brush and I blend it and then I blend it out and then I use my finger again. It catches, it's just too thick. That's one of the criticisms I have about this product. It's just too thick. I actually think that this is better to use on the face rather than even on the under eye area. I think it's one of those ones that will blend in nicely with your foundation and keep your foundation matte. In terms of using it under the eyes, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not something that I would choose to go out of my way to do all the time. Is this something I would repurchase? Probably not, more so because I am a big fan of liquid concealers. I find that they move a lot more easily. I find that they blend a lot more easily. I find that they have a lot more give. Whereas once this is dry, it ain't budging, it ain't moving, which is a good thing, but then a bad thing in a way if you haven't completed blending it all out. This is something that would definitely last you a long time as well because it is so thick. It is definitely also one of those concealers that would work very well in the warmer months, purely because it keeps everything matte. Now, that is different to when you are sweating. When you are sweating, you just need to be careful because there could be some creasing under the eyes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it would move around on your face because your face is more flat and this area has more folds and creases and that sort of thing. But overall, I think it's an okay concealer. It's not going to be one of my favorites, not a holy grail, but it's alright. An 8 out of 10 is not a bad mark by any means. Obviously I have to go based on my experiences as well as what Too Faced themselves claim it to be. When they say it's creaseless and they make a point of mentioning that it's creaseless, that's one thing I'm going to be looking out for, and it creases pretty much within minutes. So that's all I have to say about this concealer. Let me know what your thoughts are, whether you've tried it, whether you're thinking about trying it, etc. I'm going to love you and leave you all. Hope you're all wonderful, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.